Good evening and welcome to Imola for the latest round of the Radical Esports Cup here this season. Season 3 of 2026 about to reach the 1/3 mark already after 4 weeks of racing. Last week it was Barber Motorsports Park, and it's a similarly tight technical racetrack that we're at here today at Imola. A Grand Prix circuit though nevertheless, and the size of these Radicals should help us to have still a very good race. Sophie and O'Leary, JR Gregory going to be bringing you the commentary here tonight on the iRacing and RaceSpotTV channels all across. Good to be alongside you, JR, once again. I must say, Imola is not my favourite circuit in the world, but these Radicals are small enough and slow enough, although still pretty quick, to make this circuit very interesting and actually raceable as well, which is, you can't say the same for every category of car in iRacing.
Yeah, Imola definitely can be tough. And, you know, in this car, what I find interesting about driving the Radical SR10 around Imola is it's a very powerful car, over 400 horsepower, pretty light, but still Imola is the kind of circuit that turns this SR10 into a momentum car. It's very easy to overslow for some of these corners, Tamburello, Villeneuve, and you have to keep the speed going across the apex if you want to have a shot out here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the remainder of the schedule. The technical racetracks will definitely continue at Road Atlanta in 1 week's time. Of course, we'll bring you them all live as we always do. In terms of the standings so far, there'll be very early standings, of course, but Peter Eveny is leading the way by 15 points over Brandon Hawkin. Jake Williams is in 3rd place in front of Ketil Larson, with a bit of a gap then back to James Barry, who's fairly comfortably in front of Max Davies, who's in 6th place. Ollie Gullickson, Heinz Braun, Dennis Kirkopoulos and Andrew Mitchell round out the top 10. In the RaceSpotTV standings, Brandon Hawkin is leading those after winning 2 races and finishing 2nd in the other. Jake Williams wasn't here last week, but he still retained 2nd in front of James Barry, who's been in the top 10 all 3 occasions, as has Peter Eveny, Max Davies and Ketil Larson. Ollie Gullickson was only here in the top 5 in Road America. He is there as well. Diego Perez also only at 1 round so far. Mikel Mercedes here and Robert Woodward round out the top 10 in these very, very early points standings. So that's how we stand going in towards Imola here today. Let's say it is still very, very close across the board, and there's not actually very, very big differences between the official standings and our RaceSpotTV standings as well, because this is normally 9 times out of 10 the most valuable race for the Radical Esports Cup all season, and all week, I should say, throughout the season on a Friday evening here. And as I say, that makes these races very, very valuable. So generally, and the same is the case tonight, we see the top contenders, the top names in these sessions. Brandon Hawkins here, for example. Peter Eveny as well is leading the officials standings. Jake Williams is here as well. So yeah, we've got many of the big names. Even Sebastian Lipper's back here today. Andrea Castro. Some of these names who are coming back after a few weeks away.
Yeah, absolutely. There has been a little bit of a shakeup up top. Ivani has always kind of been sniffing around the podium, but look at him right now sitting in P1 on the season. Also newcomer Brandon Hawkin kind of shaking things up. Jake Williams, you mentioned before. So maybe going through a little bit of a transition right here in the officials, and it is great to see new blood getting in this car. You mentioned the high points value at this 2100 GMT broadcasted race here on RaceSpot and on the iRacing official YouTube channel. 5K rating here on this lobby. So these drivers are in rare air indeed.
Yeah, they're very exciting to watch as well. These races anyway really, but Imola will be as well. 15 in the server here for this one, I believe. Ready to go. Still no time from the likes of Heinz Braun or Jake Williams either here. So some big names, and whoa, that's a slide and a big save from Heinz Braun there, and through the final turn. Goodness me, he should attach some rear wheels to that car. It might help. He just out the final corner and coming towards the line. There's a big gap between 6th and 7th, as you can see, 2 tenths to 9 tenths. I wonder if he can slot in that gap there, or whether no, it'll be too slow for that even. So drops into 9th place. Very noticeable gap there. We don't normally see a gap as big as that in the middle of the field, but that definitely defines a top 6, I would say, of drivers who are properly comfortable around here.
Yeah, pretty interesting. We're usually packed up pretty tight up top, as you say, and I kind of like to look at the 1 second club up top, and only 7 drivers right now, separated by point 0.9. But Imola, very, very tough racetrack, and it's as I said, overslowing can be a problem here. Another problem here is the curbing, and we're going to watch James Barry coming up here to Varianti Alta, and you see him 4 wheels off the ground twice there. And these drivers on every lap are going to have to make that calculation how much they want to straighten out Varianti Alta, and because it is risky, and doing it for lap after lap can have consequences. And I promise you that somebody is going to suffer consequences right there before this one's over.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Brandon Hawkins has taken the pole here tonight, though, as he has had a brilliant start to this season. He's alongside Peter Eveny at the beginning of this race. James Barry and Andre Castro are then on row 2, in front of Sebastian Lipp and Hubert Gullickson, who round off row 3. Then you've got that big gap back to Mikael Masesier, who's ahead of Jake Williams. Ketil Larsen and Heinz Braun then round out the top 10. George Gonzaga and Rodrigo de la Cruz round out row 6. Ole Henrik Gullickson, Chris Vetz and Ryan Stringer round out the field. All 15 drivers qualifying here tonight. And it's a deceptively long run towards turn 1 here at Tamburello as well. So watch out for this run, because anyone with a good start might be able to gain some places before they've even hit the brakes for the first time.
Yeah, 2 right. And remember, folks, no traction control, no ABS. And the drivers at the pointy end of this field are going to have that dual clutch set up to get these things moving. And it is a challenge to get them moving on ice-cold tires. That long run down into entry to Tamburello. Stuff could happen here early. We're going to cross our fingers for a clean start here, but things can get messy here at Imola early. So here we go as the time ticks down.
Still some guys not on the grid yet. Andre Castro is leaving a big gap there on the left-hand side, as you can see. Surely he'll be on the grid in time for the race in a few moments' time. Hopefully he will anyway. Chris Vetz at the back is there in time. Castro's still not there just at the moment. Would start from 4th place if he's able to get himself onto the grid there. Oh, he's still not there. Well, this is getting a little bit concerning. With Andre Castro not on the grid at the moment. There we go, finally he's there, just about in time. But, yeah, he will now trigger the start sequence, and we'll be ready to go from Imola. Round 4 of the Radical Esports Cup season is underway, and a very slow start in the background, but for the most of the top contenders, they get away very cleanly here. It was De La Cruz who gets away pretty much nowhere in towards turn number 1. Into turn 1 they go, and it is Eveny with the better launch from Brandon Hawkins, and he takes the lead here, but he slides very much there through turn 2, and here comes Hawkins straight back at him again, and James Barry's going to try and follow as well. Eveny had it in his hands, and he's dropped the lead now. Oh, and Barry's going backwards as well. A little bit of a lock-up, bit of side-to-side contact as they come through the chicane, the Villeneuve chicane there. Barry's still going for this, as is Castro, who's jetting past the inside of Eveny there, and he gets back through. Hawkins gets away with on there after losing the lead. He's got it straight back again.
And Castro cashing in right now, has jumped up too, but being challenged by Eveny on the inside here, side by side, and some incredible side-by-side racing off the start here at Imola. We see somebody going off in the back. I think that's Sebastian Lipp, and I bet that he had help there, Ewan. But man, oh man, what an amazing clean start in these radicals, and that is what a 5K split looks like coming off the line at Imola.
Absolutely, there's a lot of contact as well. Oh, he did it on his own. Wow, you don't see that very often. Sebastian Lipp there just clipping the grass on the way towards Piratella and going off wide. There's plenty more to look at, by the way. Gonzaga has gone off along with Stringer, and there was also an off-track moment. I think it was Barry involved in it, but I'm not entirely sure. There is James Barry down the inside into Peter Eveny, into Ravazza, and he gets through. Look at the stretching out of the front of this field here. It's generally what happens when you fight so hard. You generally stretch out the field quite a long ways, and that means that, well, yeah, I mean, look at it. I don't need to explain it to you. It is stretching out already here at the very front of the field. Are we going to see 3 wide in towards Tamburello, maybe, as James Barry gets to the inside of Peter Eveny, who can't work it all the way round, having to back out of it as well as Heinz Braun, who's up to 7th place. A lively start for those who haven't escaped at the front of the field.
Evany dropping like a stone here. That's a -4 for him after that incredible move down into Ravazza by James Berry. Caught Evany flat-footed. Wasn't expecting that one. Pretty unusual place to stuff it in, but Berry making it work there. And Jake Williams, by the way, sitting in P4 right now. That is a +5 for Williams, getting his work done here early.
Fantastic that he's managed to gain so many so early from Jake Williams. That's exactly what you'd expect from him, though. He's getting better all the time, and well, he had quite a good starting position to begin with as well in terms of his ability when he started regularly racing in the Radical Esports Cup here, and is certainly going on getting better as well. And so far, got a first and a second to his name this season. Wasn't with us last week, but nevertheless has had a great start to the season. Brandon Hawkin has been with us on every occasion this season, and he's finished first or second on a Friday night every single time. So pretty remarkable start, but he is being reeled in by Andre Castro, and to be fair, he hasn't been in the same server on a Friday night as Andre Castro yet this season. So this is the first time to see these two together.
Yeah, absolutely. Get that popcorn ready. Hawkin versus Castro is going to be something to behold. Only 3 laps into this one with, my gosh, 14 remaining. There's Gullikson kind of sniffing around in the background with Jake Williams hanging on for company, and Berry as well. But kind of the new guard taking over up top. There's a number of past champions on that list. Castro's one, Gullikson's one, James Berry is one as well. But Hawkin definitely showing up and showing his skills in this SR10.
Absolutely. Go through Toza. Castro is not going away just yet. He is going to persist here. He's going to continue to challenge. Over the top of the hill at Piratella they go. Look at this further back. It's battle and just continuing on here. Heinz Brun with pressure from Michael Masses here. But he is not able to get through there at the top of the hill, as you can see, quite. Jake Williams not that far behind Henrik Gullikson either. There's little groups all over the place at the moment, I feel, rather than sort of one really large group, but that's what you see at Imola. It's not a drafting track, but there is a good deal of slipstream for you on the front straight as well, which certainly does help.
Yeah, for sure. And Hawkin doing a great job managing that gap behind to Andre Castro. I saw it get as low as a half a second. And right now, as they're preparing to queue up here to get back on that pit straight and stretch it out to 0.8. So that's what Hawkin wants to see. That is within draft range of these cars. Anything around 0.7, 0.8, they're going to get a huge tow down this long pit straight. But Hawkin so far doing a good job. And here comes a look. That is Williams looking down the inside of Gullikson. Nothing Gullikson can do here on the entry to Tamburello. That will put Williams up into P3. That is a +6, Ewan. Williams on fire.
Absolutely. Fantastic race from him so far, really is, from Jake Williams. Let's say 2 top 2s so far and 1 no-show. But if the 2 ahead of him, the 2 North Americans ahead of him, Hawkin and Castro, really start to fight, then there's no reason why he can't get on terms with them. It is a second and a half, 2 seconds or so up to Castro. And as soon as he's got the slipstream there, the gap comes down exponentially quicker as well. So he's not out of this yet, Jake Williams, but I think he will be ruining qualifying based on the pace that he has. He could have qualified much better.
Yeah, Williams showing some pretty good pace. Just a quick look. Looks like James Berry is the fast man right now with about a 1:37.2. But Williams with a 1:37.3, a couple of tenths quicker than Hawkin and Castro up front. So Williams in very good stead here to crank down that 2-second gap, particularly if Hawkin and Castro start fighting. But of course, as I say that, Castro, a pro racer as well as a sim racer, understands racecraft and probably understands that it's better for him and Hawkin to drive off than to start fighting here early and to let Williams into this one.
Oh, indeed, they will certainly be thinking about that at the moment, and Williams has got to think about his own scenario at the moment, because Gullikson's coming and he backs out in the end. Barry maybe looks for it as well, but I don't think Gullikson was quite expecting the aggression. He's bundled over the curbs and he's straight into James Barry, who's now back behind Peter Evany. Here comes Evany meantime on Gullikson as well. That was all sorts of miscommunication there, and Peter Evany says thanks very much and takes back 2 places as well to move up to 4th. Barry and Masessa have now made contact, it looks like. James Barry drops down the field, and that's a real shame because he was really only caught up in what had happened in front of him.
And Barry takes a tow there. Barry has given up, and yeah, that was disaster. It all started with Barry pressuring Gullickson. Gullickson overcooks that entry to Tamburello, over slows. You'll see it right here, and then doink. Barry not expecting Gullickson in front of him there, takes a hit, and it goes downhill. We'll stay with him just for a second to see the next part of this, but Barry going to be taking a tow here shortly, yeah, and it is damaged. That car not turning, so that hit on Gullickson there. Sometimes when you hit the radical right on the wheel there, it causes suspension damage and game over for James Barry.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just on that corner there that has done for James Barry, I'm afraid, and he knew it straight. You can tell how experienced he is in the radicals. He knew it straight away. It felt to me like when he was coming down the straight there. I guess he would have felt it through that final part of the first chicane, but nevertheless, he certainly knew about it eventually. Masessa now has really dropped down the field outside the top 10 in the last couple of moments as the battle for the lead goes on bottom right. They're going to stay single file. What happens to Masessa? He's been hit by Heinz Braun, and well, that looks pretty. Well, it didn't look like Masessa's fault. Let's put it that way. Heinz Braun does end up battling with Sebastian Lipp, who I think gets back past him again as well, by the way. But it did look rather like Braun just hit the Maltese driver there.
Yeah, too right, and back on board with Andre Castro. And I had said that Hawken was doing a good job managing that gap behind, and Castro has taken a full half second out of Hawken. You see it right there as they come up out of the out of Tosa, up the hill, down here into Aqua Minerale, and Castro lighting the wick here. About 10 laps remaining, and this is the point of the race where Castro starts to probe. He'll start to show his nose and start to calculate where he can strike down the stretch. But Hawken definitely with his hands full, and you said this was their first close encounter, so be fascinating to see how this unfolds.
Yeah, certainly will. It's got a long way to go yet, this story at the front of the race, but as you predicted, they've both been just keeping an eye on Jake Williams in behind, and they have known that if they fight too soon, then they will just be inviting him into the fray, and they don't want that. So they run single file still, even if Castro is probably in range at the moment. He's sort of in the outer range, if you like. Can't quite do it in towards Tamburello this time either, and here comes Jake Williams trying to do the same. Heinz Braun on the back of Sebastian Lipp here. Can't quite get himself past in towards the first chicane either. And when you make contact with somebody like what Heinz Braun just did, it does always make you a little bit nervous of running into the back of somebody else. I know that after running back into the back of plenty of people in my time. He might well just be taking it a bit carefully, at least for the next couple of laps.
Yeah, Braun with an audible lift there on the approach to Tamburello. Might have had a crack there to press his case, but is going to give Lipp a reprieve, at least for the time being. But Lipp, kind of unusual to see him where he is in the field right now, running in P6 with pressure from behind from Braun. So Braun showed up getting some work done here. Braun up 4 right now and hoping to make it 5 with a pass to put him past Lipp into P6.
Two Germans fighting for 6th place. Two North Americans fighting for the lead here, approaching half distance at Imola. Castro has shown no signs so far of wanting to get through on Hawken at this very moment, but that will come later. He'll want to try and time this correctly so as not to allow Jake Williams into the fray, but also not to show his cards too much. If he just waits for the final lap, gives Hawken a lot of time to think about how he's going to defend it, and that might not be what you want. Here comes Castro now, though, as we approach half distance. He's finally gone for it. Outside line into the first chicane, a bit of side to side, and Hawken's muscled out the way. Andre Castro leads the race at Imola, and now can he pull away from Brandon Hawken?
Oh my goodness, what a move by Andre Castro made that look easy against inside defense from Hawken. Takes the outside, sets himself up for the inside of the following corner, turn 3 there in Tamburello. And I'll tell you what, the way Castro ate up that gap ahead to catch Hawken there, I'm thinking that he probably is going to drive off right now. He's already got a 0.3 behind, and Hawken needs to pedal hard here. If Castro gets out of draft range, that's going to turn into a track day for Andra, as we've seen many times here. But Hawken hanging on to the tune of about 0.2 as we take another look at Lip on the bottom there, looking back at Heinz Braun. Heinz Braun rocking a new livery out there, but rocking this same old attitude of some aggressive driving out there on Imola.
Well, is this just the start of a really long and exciting battle between these two? To be honest, I thought when Castro got through that would be over. That would be the move. But no, Hawken's been able to come back again, despite being just knocked slightly wide. He's come back again, and he's come for revenge here. Is he just going to push Castro indeed? Well, he is confident. He doesn't feel the need, and the reason why is because he doesn't feel the need to get in front of Castro and try and defend from him all the time. He feels, well, he's set out the target. You try and get away from me in that case. And Hawken is putting faith in himself, and not misplaced faith based on the season so far, but he's putting faith in himself to stay with Castro here, at least for the next few laps.
Oh my gosh, and that was all that exit out of Ravazza. Hawken getting a great drive right there, getting right up under the rear wing of Andre Castro and giving him a little smooch to help him down that pit straight, and keeping an eye, as we said, on Jake Williams. He's got that gap down to a 2.5 seconds. So Jake getting his work done out there as well. And looking at the fast laps, I'm going to say that Williams right now, the fast man on the track with a 1:37.191, or actually that's just a hair off of Castro, but Williams putting down some fast laps right now.
Yeah, I think he's going to get there. Whether they fight or not, I think he is going to get there. You've seen those laps there. I mean, it's almost within a second now. Here's Jake Williams. And when there's 3 involved, who knows what could happen. Is that going to open the door for even Ian Gullickson to catch up if there's a real fight here? Maybe. But coming out of the final turn again, Hawken has often got a really good run out of here, actually, as he gets on the back of Andre Castro, and he's going to push him again. So he's not quite willing to go all out for this just yet, but again, it's a remarkable show of confidence from Brandon Hawken, that he's pushing on Castro. Well, maybe he understands that he's got a 50% chance of winning as it is right now. He's got a 33% chance in just if you round the maths. If Jake Williams catches up, it's an interesting thing that he's doing here, because you don't often see someone who's just lost the lead helping the guy who's just taken that lead off him.
Yeah, trying to help himself, I think. And look at Williams crank down that gap. My goodness, it's down to 0.7 as they enter Tosa. And that means that Williams has taken off a full second in 2 laps. And it's kind of hard to conceive at the pointy end of this field. Everybody is insanely fast, but Jake Williams putting down some laps. And I'll tell you, Brandon Hawken owns that exit of Ravazza onto that start-finish straight, and that may have race implications down the stretch at the end. We'll see what happens, but Hawken definitely closing the gap ahead when they come onto that start-finish straightaway.
Well, this is just an extraordinary battle at the moment, extraordinary situation. Because at the moment it looks like, despite their efforts here of Andre Castro and Brandon Hawken, they're not able to keep Jake Williams far enough away. So does that mean Hawken's going to just fight anyway? Does he understand that this is going to catch, and so he's just got to go for it, or is he waiting a bit further? Because to be fair, on the straights, look, the gap just goes out again. So maybe this is sustainable. Maybe it's sustainable that Williams can catch them at the braking zones and through the corners, and if they just pull out another few attempts every lap on the front straight, then maybe they've got a sustainable gap here to manage for the rest of the race, at least until the very final laps of the race. But right now it seems like this race is teetering on a knife edge.
Yeah, and the trick here, Ewan, I think is going to be, there's not going to be a last lap pass for the pass for the win is going to have to be into Tamburello on the penultimate lap. Hawkins going to have to make a move and hold off Castro for that final lap if he's going to make something happen here. Williams still lingering around back there about 9/10. These guys are doing their best to keep away from him, but Williams closing. And I'll tell you what, a competitive driver like Jake Williams, nothing makes you drive faster than having a target right in front of you.
Yeah, indeed. That carrot in front of you just to try and catch. Williams is surely nearly there now.
0.6 now.
Yeah, exactly. 0.6, just less than 0.7. It's the reason why every time these two were pulling away is because Williams wasn't in the slipstream at all, and Castro was getting the reverse draft and the bump draft from Hawkin, who's very good at this final corner and therefore was able to get onto the back of Castro very quickly. But with Williams getting the whiff of a slipstream, he might be able to nullify the amount that they're gaining. And there we go, it's starting to go the other way now. So Williams is in the draft of Hawkin, and just as Hawkin gets to the back of Castro, he can't turn the tide on that. So Williams is in here. He's got the draft, he's closed up, despite their best efforts, and to be fair, they haven't faffed around here, Castro and Hawkin. Despite their best efforts, Jake Williams is here, and he's showing some very impressive pace.
Absolutely, Williams has joined the party. Look at that gap, it's under 0.4 now. Castro and Hawkins working together to try to escape Jake, the Welshman, and it has not happened. He is right in the sweet spot right now. 5 laps remaining here, plenty of time, and it's going to be fascinating to see how Williams is going to elect to attack. He needs a twofer here at some point, or who needs to pick him off one at a time, but running out of time. And I wish I could step into Williams' mind and hear the end game that he's formulating right now as he watches these cars ahead of him.
It's just so much more complicated for all of them when there's 3 involved rather than 2. And that will be a bit of a changing of the mindset for Castro and Hawkin, who surely would have had a plan in mind as to what they wanted to do if they'd have had much time to think about it in between trying to distance Jake Williams. They would have had to plan out what they wanted to do there and had to go on and now actually execute it. But in the end, Jake Williams has caught them anyway. And of course, that was always Williams' plan. He was always planning to catch the 2 of them as the third of a 3. And so he might well have had a bit more time to think about this and how he's going to attack this race. Now Hawkin is set free by the constraints of a driver chasing them behind. He goes to the outside of Castro, who just lets him go because Andre Castro does not want to lose 2 places. He just settled for the 1.
Yeah, Hawkin has seen enough. He's watching those laps tick down, and I'll tell you what, now he has got to light the wick. If he's got some secret sauce, it is time to put it on, because Williams right now only about 4/10 behind, has shown the capacity to get through traffic, and Williams right now sitting up 6. That is a advance of, my goodness, from P9, and if Williams is going to get a victory here, that'll put him up 8 after qualifying 9th, and will be one of the epic drives so far of the season. And look at that gap right now. Jake Williams all over Andre Castro, and as we get near the end of lap 13.
Yeah, as you say, it would really be one of the great drives this from Jake Williams if he were to be able to do this. We don't see runs through the field like this, all in all honesty, on a Friday night too often. Generally, they're so strong in qualifying, so good at qualifying, that they are at the front anyway, or it just takes too long to get through the field and get up to a position like this. I mean, Williams hasn't found it easy, there's no doubt about that. But he is here, and that's the most important thing for him now. Castro has not had a great lap. He is slipping away from Brandon Hawkin. So what does Jake Williams do here? Does he save Castro and hope that he can stay close to the Canadian out front? Or does he go for his own move? Castro's nervous that he will go for his own thing, and Williams decides not to. But that gap was teetering on an unclosable margin there for Castro. He's got a better run through Tamburello this time. He can't ensure that happens again there. He's got to get closer to Hawkin here.
Yeah, pretty good defense there by Castro, right on the edge. You saw him cover the inside and slowly drift out to the normal entry to Tamburello. Not really moving in the braking zone, but about as close as you can get. So some stout defending by Andre Castro. That gap behind Williams now 0.3. And Hawken has got to be loving what he's seeing in his relative as Castro and Williams go to war for P2.
This is just music to his ears for Brandon Hawken right now. If indeed it's Williams versus Castro for second, but it's not quite ensured at the moment. It's 0.4 of a second only. There's still chance to close there. Oh, and a bit of a slide there through Variante Alta from Hawken that time. He was a little bit wide. That might well be an off track, but you do get a few of those, so he'll get away with it for the moment. In towards Rivazza. Castro super close with Williams there as they get on the brakes. Williams has got to try and make a pass this time round, I think. He's, or maybe he's going to push him even. So look how close he is coming out of the final turn there. Hawken is trying to break the slipstream here, and Williams has got to be very careful with what he does. And he's going to go for it here. He's going to go for it. And this is Hawken's dream here. He wants these two to go side by side and effectively roll out the red carpet for him. And Williams can't get it done. But that's 0.5 of a second now, nearly 6. And Brandon Hawken, surely the favourite to go on and win this race. It's going to take a big, big effort now for Andre Castro to get back on terms.
Great fight right there between Williams and Castro. And to be quite honest to you, Williams, a newcomer, his entry into the community, not super smooth, had some controversial moments, but right there you saw the highest degree of respect between he and Castro coming down that pit straight, and Castro somehow able to outbreak Williams on the inside, entering Tamburello, and Hawken has got to be loving this. Look at that gap, 0.7 now, and Hawken sitting pretty.
With the white flag being ready next time round, surely he is odds-on favourite now with the gap that he has. A very, very smart race from Hawken, and wasn't fearful of changing strategy as well halfway through. He was working with Castro at one stage, even despite having just lost the race lead. He was working with Castro to try and keep Jake Williams away. When it was clear they weren't going to be able to manage that to the degree that he'd like, he went for the move. He went for first, and it's shown actually that he's had the speed all along, and it's been the slipstream and the tactics that have been keeping him in close here over the course of this race. Can Williams get into second here as the white flag waves, or is this going to be a 1-2-3 that follows one another all the way home? It looks like it may well be. It won't be for fourth, as Peter Eveny defends hard from Hubert Gullikson, who only on his second top 10 of the season here on a Friday night. Gullikson right round the outside, late breaking move, and he moves up into fourth place.
Oh, that outside move into Tamburello by Gullikson. That is how you get the Imola merit badge right there. Overcoming that inside defense into Tamburello. Great stuff there. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be Hawken from Castro, from Williams. Not trying to jinx anybody right now, but I got to say that Williams has the pace. He's going to be kicking himself about his performance in qualifying. And Castro has been very, very good on defense here, and of course great racecraft by Brandon Hawken, staying calm, calculating when to make the move, making it at the right time, and he's going to cash in on a win for his trouble. A great drive by the entire team, and really the entire field, as we've become accustomed to here, 2100 GMT every Friday.
What a fantastic race here at Imola tonight. 16 laps of fantastic action. These radicals showing that even some of the more difficult circuits in terms of overtaking can be made exciting. Brandon Hawken out of the final corner. He's going to crown himself victorious with this one. He's taken 3 in a row now on a Friday night. He's beginning to take charge of this time slot. Brandon Hawken crosses the line first and wins at Imola in front of Castro and Williams, who crashed with each other over the line. Don't forget, they've got previous. It was a clean battle between the two of them on this occasion, though, and they round out the podium.
Oh my goodness, I might have to see that one again, Ramiro, in slow motion if you're bored there in the booth. But yeah, what a fantastic race. And you know, we've got a great schedule out here, about half Formula One tracks and some really good American classics. And this Radical Esports Cup has delivered yet again. What a pleasure to be here with you all. And my goodness, we'll get the final results for you here in a minute and have some driver interviews as well. So hang in.
Yeah, indeed. hopefully we'll be able to chat to Brandon Hawkin for the first time. Here's your slow-mo. I never know with these two whether they're still mad at each other for that race at Spa about 3 months ago or longer, or whether they're just messing around after the race here. But there you go. I say, I know they weren't too happy with each other after that race a few months ago, but there you go. It was a while ago now. Anyway, Brandon Hawkin takes the victory here tonight. Again, third in a row, by the way, on a Friday for him. Andre Castro and Jake Williams complete the podium. Hovey Gullikson got past Peter Ivany right at the end, as we saw. Ivany ending up just in front of Sebastian Lipp, who got back to 6th place after going off in the gravel at Piratella at one stage. Ketzel Larsen, Heinz Braun, George Gonzaga and Mako Masesa round out the very high-class top 10. Rodrigo de la Cruz, Chris Retz, Ole Henrik Gullikson and Ryan Stringer round out those on the lead lap, with James Barry 12 laps down. Well, what a fantastic race that was. Hopefully we'll get to chat to Brandon Hawkin before we finish tonight, but Andre Castro's already in. He's just got himself there in time, Brandon Hawkin, just so I was about to go to Castro. I'll bring Brandon Hawkin in, hopefully for a chat. Brandon, welcome in. Good to have you with us, and congratulations on the race win tonight. From Imola. How was that there? Changing tactics, changing scenarios all around you there. Jake Williams catching yourself and Andre at one stage. You seemed to be working together for a little bit before you went and took the race lead. Tell us about your changing thoughts on the scenario as it developed around you in that race there.
Thank you. Yeah, glad I found you guys. Yeah, it was man, that was really tough there. Andre was super quick, and Jake had a ton of speed. He was catching up real quick there, and I was working with Andre there just to like keep us away from Jake for as long as possible, because he had a ton of speed. And once he got close enough, I was like, you know what, I should probably go now and try and get the lead. I don't want to be like defending while trying to make a pass. So so I went, and then from there just trying all I could just to get a little bit away from both of them, and man, that was tough. And then towards the end they got battling, so I thought I'd try and keep them side by side, and it worked just enough and to make it so I didn't have a battle going into turn 1 on the final lap. So man, that was a really hard fought race. Hats off to both of those guys. That was a ton of fun, and man, yeah, it's been a blast so far.
Well, yeah, tell us a little bit more about the season as a whole, because we've obviously seen you in the last 4 weeks now in this in this time slot, in the Radical Esports Cup. How have you been finding these races generally? Because on a Friday night on the broadcasted races, you're 3 on the bounce now.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I just picked up this car not too long ago, and thought I took a drive, and it was like, man, this thing is a lot of fun. So, man, I saw the broadcast race was on Friday at 5, and so you know, like, I'll go for Road America, see how it goes, and man, it's been a ton of fun. Things like it's difficult to drive, but it makes sense, and it's lots of draft as well. It makes for some great strategy, and some like really tight racing, and man, it's been an absolute blast so far.
Well, congratulations on the win tonight, and thanks for chatting to us at the end.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Cheers. Thanks very much, Brandon Hawkin, the winner tonight, and indeed 3 on the bounce now for him in this Radical Esports Cup. Andre Castro finishes in 2nd tonight and joins us as well. Andre, welcome in. 2nd place for you tonight. Is there anything you feel you could have done to get ahead and beat Brandon here tonight, or do you feel you got the most out of that?
Oh, I got the most out of it. I mean, he was incredibly quick, and he's kind of the caliber of driver that, you know, I've been wanting to join the series for a while now. Someone who's had a ton of success in other series, and just is incredibly quick, and you can measure yourself against. So, yeah, hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully I can beat him at least one race this season. But you know, this track's definitely not one of my strongest. But at the same time, I put in a good amount of practice, and he just had too much. But it's good to have him in the series, and you know, hopefully we can attract some more elite talent over here.
Talk us through the tactics of that race there that seemed to change. You were initially trailing him from the beginning. You took the lead fairly early. He trailed you for a while, then took over the lead, and that's how it stayed. Was there much sort of tactics in there, or how would you describe that sort of period of the race where you flipped the lead a couple of times between the two of you?
I mean, I figured from like practice and qualifying that he had more pace than I did. So I thought about staying behind him and just working together to keep ahead of Jake. But I was able to stay closer to him than I thought I would be able to. So I figured I'd give it a shot in the lead, and that kind of let Jake catch us. But yeah, when I was in the lead, I mean, it was just incredibly easy for him to stay with me, and there was nothing I could do much there. I think he tried to push me a bit just to try to keep that gap to third, but I think I just lacked too much pace in the front, so he caught us anyway. And then I mean, he was so fast that it was good for me to be in second, because he could kind of tow me along, and I could kind of stay in front of third. So yeah, I was definitely scared of losing second, but held on to it in the end.
Well, congrats on that second place tonight, Andre, and thanks for chatting to us tonight as well.
Thank you, guys. It's good to be back. Hopefully be back for some more races this year.
Absolutely, good to have you back. Andre Castro, second place here tonight from Imola in the Radical Esports Cup. Well, that was absolutely fantastic race here, JR. It's so interesting what Andre was saying there about him waiting for a driver like Brandon Hawkey to come along and really challenge him. And now that he's really been challenged, I think, roundly beaten at Imola here tonight, and he would accept that as well. If those two continue to come here on Friday nights, though, we're going to have some very fun races ahead.
Yeah, too right. And notably, Castro not mentioning the talent of Jake Williams as he was talking about newcomers to the series. And I hate stirring the pot like that. You know what? That's a lie. I love stirring the pot like that. But yeah, great, great to hear from both of those drivers, and some fantastic racing. And really, what a drive by Hawken. And oh my goodness, look what is right up the road. Ewan, Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta.
Absolutely. What a fantastic racetrack to go to. And it will be the host for round 5 of our championship this season. Next Friday, of course. Same time, same place on the iRacing and RaceSpotTV YouTube channels on July 17th, 2100 GMT, as always. Between now and then, of course, there's the Sport 24 coming up at the weekend. Good luck to everyone who's driving in it in whatever split you're in. And make sure you tune into the broadcast of the top split, which will be starting in about 14 hours from now, also 15 hours from now. So yeah, it's going to be a long weekend for us all, of course, but have a good Spa 24 weekend. I've been Nuno Leary alongside JR Gregory here at the Radical Esports Cup this week. With Romero Augustin Cisneros behind the cameras. We'll be back from Road Atlanta in 1 week's time. Goodbye for now.